Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Just Legal, a podcast by MNO Advocates LLP. So ladies, how are you feeling? You look good. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
I'm so excited about this episode, and I don't know whether it shows. It does, yeah? So now let us introduce ourselves. My name is Liz DeVito. Can start the far, my left.
Yes, Daisy Chege, an advocate of the High Court.
Ida Loma, also an advocate.
Nelly Maingi, also an advocate of the High Court.
You know how it's a running joke how when a lady says you're my BFF and then there is beef. Because who is the real BFF? I think women, we exist in very different circles, and all these circles and communities mean something to us. But I know you guys are close. Yeah. So please tell me, maybe Terry, you could begin by, because I want to now make the connection.
My name is Terry Otieno. I am an advocate. I am a partner at a law firm called MNO Advocates LLP, based in Nairobi and Kakamega. Partner basically means I am an owner of the firm. I run the firm together with 3 other partners. And at the firm, I am in charge of real estate and banking. I also do property, and I am also in charge of marketing the business.
I am Nelly Maingi. I'm a prosecution counsel. I work for the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. 12 years standing as an advocate, 10 of which I've worked at the ODPP. So my specialty is criminal law. I prosecute criminal offenses, both at the lower court, high court, court of appeal. So basically that's what I do.
I am Ida Loma, an advocate of the Supreme Court of Kenya. I work at Anjarwala and Kana Advocates, ALN Kenya. I am a senior associate there. I specialize mostly in tax litigation and employment litigation. I have over 10 years actually experience, and it's been a blast.
My name is Daisy Chege again, partner at MNO Advocates with Terry. Terry is my partner together with 2 others. I specialize in conveyancing, commercial, banking and securities, and also intellectual property rights.
So, wow, that is so diverse. For us guys who are not in the profession, you think your lawyer only goes to court. And the more we hold these conversations, I realize people do not know how broad the profession is, the legal space is. Yeah. So karibuni sana. So tell me, how have your journeys to this point been for you? Like, how do you, maybe Nelly, we could start with you. Like, how do you end up, prosecuting criminals and working for the ODPP? You said?
Yes. So we went to school together, Terry, Daisy, and I. Ida will tell us about her background, but we went to Moi University where we studied law. After that, we went to KSL. Then we were admitted as advocates. So we've been friends for a long time. And so that's where the journey started. Once we left school, everybody kind of took their own path. I did practice at a law firm doing civil and commercial for a brief 2 years, but then now I got the opportunity to join the ODPP, and that's where I joined. And now I started doing criminal law because I felt I felt passionate about serving, about public service. So I still do, and that's why I'm still there. Because oftentimes people are like, when are you leaving? When are you opening your own firm? But I still feel like I have the energy to serve and to offer public service to the needy in society, because our clientele is largely the needy in society. Yes.
Awesome. What about you, Ida?
Well, for me, I actually met these beautiful ladies after my Kenya School of Law, because I studied in Kampala, Uganda. I am an international student. Across the border there. So yes, the first person I actually met was Terry, way back in 2009, if I'm not wrong. 2010. Anyway, yes.
2009 actually, you're right. Sorry, man.
Oh, yeah, so
Hey,
so
time has
we met way
a
back.
long time.
Yes, in 2009 at a law firm when we were doing pupillage. We were not being paid.
Don't say it
Story for
loudly.
another day. So yeah, of course, back then for me it has always been litigation. So yes, I've heard you talk about. Everybody thinks it's about going to court. Well, I am those people who everybody thinks it's about going to court. And so yeah, so that's where we met with Terry, and then the relationship just grew. Nelly, Daisy, yeah. So I'm very happy to be doing litigation. It's not about liking to hear the sound of my voice, Please do not get it wrong, But it's just it's something about advocacy, basically. Yeah, it's about advocacy, and of course now the gospel out there is alternative dispute resolution and things like that. So yes, mimi ni wakili na nafurahia kuwa wakili mwenye anaenda kotini. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, yeah, we like Nelly said, we were in school together, Moi University. Went to KSL. After KSL, for me, I landed directly into practice. So I went into a law firm for my pupillage, official pupillage. Did I was exposed to everything, all areas of law, both litigation, commercial, conveyancing, the whole. When you are being trained, you're exposed to everything. That's where also I met up, apart from being in school with Terry, we met up again in practice. We were working in the same law firm. We were doing pupillage together. Then we got admitted together. Then we got absorbed in the firm. Got absorbed in the firm as now advocates, or as what before you're admitted, there's something in between there we call holding over. So we did holding over together. Then we got admitted together in 2011. And many years later, of course, our careers took different paths, took us to other areas. But for me, I've always remained in the practice areas in law firms. Then finally, after 2016, we met up again and started MNO Advocates, LLP as partners, together with two others. Yes.
That is awesome. It's good to see how even as women, we are still able to create our own communities and exist in them. Yeah. At MNO, we are really, really passionate about women. We are passionate about SMEs. We are passionate about owner-led businesses. And I think it really just goes to show how communities and partnerships really do work. So let me ask you, did you always know you wanted to end up in the legal space? Was it like that thing, you always knew I want to be a lawyer? Like personally for me, I did want to be, I wanted to be a lawyer at one point. I think, of course, because I was the kid who was very argumentative and everyone would be like, utakuwa wakili. Anyway, it didn't happen. Yeah, so what about you guys? Terry?
I knew in class 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Revelations.
I found my notebook that I'd written, and I used to write, I loved writing. So I found an old notebook that I'd written way back in primary school, and I'd written that I wanted to be an advocate. Going back to what you had said initially, I also knew lawyers just go to court. So in fact, when I joined the profession, I thought I would just also go to court. In fact, a joke I normally say when my dad calls me, for the longest time, if I missed his call, when I'd call him back, he'd be like, "Oh, you were in court." I'm like, I'm not a court-going lawyer, but he doesn't want to accept the fact that for him, he paid school fees
For a court-going lawyer, yes.
Yeah. So I also thought that was the only route to it, and I started by going to court, and then I had a really bad experience with my first experience with a certain case, which was very emotional, and for a young upcoming advocate. And then I was introduced to property and commercial law, and I loved it, and I just went with it. So for me, I always wanted to do law, and I think the reason for that was because we'd also had some experience at home that wasn't too nice. So I think that implanted in that idea that, how do you fight for justice? You fight for justice by the people who fight for justice are judges, advocates. So that's, I think, how that came about. Yeah.
Unlike Terry, my standard response is, I'm in court. But that aside, I didn't know when I was in primary or high school, but I knew that my strengths were in English, which is you have to be very fluent, and humanities, I was good at humanities. So I knew I'd go to the social areas, but I hadn't specifically pinpointed. Surprisingly, I was also good at math. So my dad was focused, like you can go into banking business. He was kind of pushing me towards that way. So I'd actually applied for a course to go and study business. And then someone met my mother, and they were just talking, and they were like, that daughter of yours, can't she do law? More university is taking students. So my mom came home and she was like, I met someone who was like, you should do law, Nini. So the moment she told me that, I mean, it just clicked that I want to do this. So the hard part was convincing my father, who had already paid a full semester, for the business course. So at first when I went there, he was like, no, I've already paid, you're admitted. So I really cried. I cried a lot. So it took time.
I actually thought I would be an actor, to be honest.
Stop.
Yes, I actually thought I'd be an actor and just
You'd make a good one.
by now. But yeah, I actually thought, acting, it's my passion. Whenever there's drama, ndio mimi huyo. Of course, the arts, history, sciences, nini. So the results come out, and you're like, okay, there's this school in the US offering a scholarship, and I apply for the scholarship, and I succeed, and I get the scholarship. But then now you're like, folks are like, this is not happening because one, yes, you have the scholarship, but we need money for the air ticket. So there's another option. So where my mom used to work, they were marketing this international school that I have mentioned.
Yes.
That is across the border. And she was like, you know what? Try it out. You just never know. And so what course am I going to do? Bachelor of Laws. So I was like, okay, sawa. And there you have it. Proceeded to Kampala, Uganda, did my law degree, came back, and the rest is history. So I have, it's the legal profession, no, I have grown to love it, and there's no turning back at this point in time.
For me, it's very similar to Edel's. I also didn't know that for sure, like growing up in school, that 100% that I had a conviction of being an advocate. It happened after you finish your Form 4, then you're thinking about what are you going to do, which course are you going to do. And I think the conviction came through my mom, because she's the one who was like, when I look at you, the only thing I see is a lawyer. So she's the one who initiated the whole process of applying, filling up the papers, and I was just going with the flow. But I loved it when I joined and I realized she was actually right. She actually knew exactly where I fit. And no regrets so far.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What I hear, there's also the aspect of women and our mothers and how influential they are in our lives. And I think it just goes to say, as women, the power that we hold, if we're able to really just sit in it, and how much influence we have just by existing as women. I'm curious, maybe two of you will tell me, if you could switch places with either of your friends in their profession. I know you're in the space, you're all lawyers, you're advocates, but if you could switch
any
places
friends out there, or
no, here.
who are not lawyers?
No, here, like in the space you're in right now, because you're practicing different spaces. Idel,
I could actually try out what Terry and Daisy are doing in terms of the conveyancing space, the real estate space. I could try it out. They say the deals are done in 90 days. For us, it's
eons.
So I'd try, because I don't think I can handle prosecution.
What about you guys?
I think I'd want to try for like 2 days what Nelly is doing, so that I can experience criminals.
Lord.
Prosecuting criminals.
For drama too.
I've just said 2 days.
2 days. Daisy.
Me too. I think that's the other side of what I do. So I'll also like to experience what Nelly does as a prosecutor. It sounds like a very other whole world that we are not familiar with and we're not aware. Despite being lawyers, there's that whole field that we don't know about. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Who wouldn't want to own a farm? I mean, I'd be owning a farm, but anyway, it still might happen. You never know. But it would be lovely to own a farm and to be your own boss. You know, that's the main agenda.
Start your own business, they say.
It will be easy, they said.
Well, but it's an interesting take. Now, I want to ask you guys, this far, like, what do you think is the change? What has changed and what has also like remained the same within the profession?
In terms of, which is open and everybody is seeing it, embracing ICT, going digital, that tumetoka mbali for sure. There are some people who, I mean, when courts were now virtual, it was quite interesting to just get people, especially the really old senior counsel, I would say, by the time they actually got to know how to, how people conduct themselves within the court corridors. That I don't see that has changed. The platform for doing it has changed, but the advocacy is still the same.
For me, what has changed is similar to what Idela said, the digital space. Yeah, even for us lawyers, I don't know how many, if you go to a lawyer's office, when we were being trained, there was a lot of paperwork, a lot of files and a lot of paperwork. But right now, we are embracing the digital space, we're embracing paperless.
I walk into your offices and I still find
trust me, just phasing out. The files are getting smaller and smaller, and then we are having more of whereby even nowadays there's this space where there's digital management systems for lawyers.
Exactly.
Yes, that has really changed. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
I think in terms of, just to add on to that, information is really out there now, and people really know what is their right and what is not, and there's a lot of, I mean, initially, even when we started prosecuting, you'd find most of the time the defense was, I didn't know, but right now, people are aware, and information has really just gone global, and it's at your reach, at your fingertips. So people are more informed, I would say, than when they were coming in. So we find more amateur lawyers who are, even someone is defending themselves, they're the criminal and they don't have an advocate, but they know their cases, they know their precedents, they know their sections. So that part of information, I think,
there's a lot of information.
Yes. In terms of remaining the same, I feel like there's still a lot of gatekeeping. Like, I remember when we were young, we'd feel like the older advocates are just, they don't want us to prosper.
Unreachable, inaccessible.
Yeah, he's paying you 15,000 and he think like he's doing you a big favor. Like, there's a lot of gatekeeping, I feel like, in the legal profession. And I guess when you're so frustrated as a young lawyer, when you get there, I don't know,
You realize.
you're not opening doors.
You do the same.
You're not really opening doors. We are trying.
We're trying to change the narrative.
I feel like there's still a lot of gatekeeping, which I hope
there is.
Yeah, with time. Even you'd think that in government or in public service there's no, but it's still there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think anyway, the fact that we are seated and working in very different spaces, I think you've come a long way anyway.
Yes.
I think for me, what I'd say is the law itself.
Or the law
The
itself.
law itself, like from when we started, for example, in my area of practice, when you got to 2012, the law changed. So imagine you went to school learning this set of laws, and then now there's a whole change which now you have to learn again. And now again, 2020 or so, there was a new act again, like sectional properties, which we are learning now again. So even the same with civil procedure under what IDEL does, for example, that act changed as well. So even the law itself changes, and you have to keep, learning afresh and researching afresh, so that you remain a good lawyer and relevant to the profession.
Yeah.
So I think that in terms
Not
of
even forgetting our constitution.
our constitution changed.
Yeah.
So the law itself changes quite a bit.
We've done a very interesting episode with Daisy on sexual property.
Yeah.
That has left me in awe of how much there is to learn when just buying right now we're buying a lot of the flats and these apartments. How much you just can't wing it on your own. As much as we are saying a lot of the information is out there, I realize more and more just interacting with the content that right now we are producing, and even the fact that we're able to sit with you guys even in different social aspects, I realize more and more how important it is to have legal advisory, and especially having a lawyer who walks the journey with you. We keep saying at MNO that the difference is a great relationship. I realize now more than ever how important it is to actually walk and build a relationship
with your advocates. Yeah, it is
so
important. And to also have lawyers who understand. First of all, there are different lawyers who do different things, as you've seen. So sometimes the assumption for clients is I'm buying property, si niko na ule wakili wangu wa kwenda kotini. And maybe they have absolutely no idea how property is dealt with. So also try and make sure you end up somewhere where there is expertise for the specific thing. There is a big pool of people who know. For example, we are a firm of about 24 people. So there are people, different experts in different fields within the law firm. So it's important to get somebody who understands what it is, because like if you come to me with criminal law, I'll just call Lily and refer you there. So get an expert. I'd say that.
Okay. So I want to know who's one person, Terry, who inspires you?
One person who inspires me professionally or otherwise? Professionally.
Let's bring it home professionally.
Professionally, there's a partner in our law firm called Makanda. I think he's able to handle very many different areas of law. And so he's a senior partner, and therefore he gives a lot of guidance to us and we are his juniors. So he's an intelligent person. So because of that, we are also able to learn and seek guidance. So I'd say that.
What about you, Del? One person in the profession that inspires you to do better?
Can we circle back on that? Because the list I think the list would be endless, to be honest. So
Daisy?
on that.
I wouldn't say there's one person, but the people who held my hand in my this profession that have trained me from the beginning when I was fresh, have taken me through mentorship up to this level, and I still look up to them. I wouldn't say it's one specific person. There's I think this happens in all professions. We need mentors. Whatever we do, the people who are going to teach us, the people who are going to look up to what they are doing. They hold our hand, they walk with us. I would say they are quite a number.
I've also had several. So several bosses that I've had in my career. From my first boss who I had in Machakos to my boss who I had in Naivasha, a lady, she's called Jacqueline, and she really lets you win in your own space. She doesn't try to control you so it's servant leadership. So I'd say, looking at these leaders, you kind of lean on to what you want to be. So from her, I've learned the servant part and letting people be. Because in the profession, it's easy to, when someone asks you like, what should we do here, to tell them do this or do that, or just call them, this case you should do this. But her, she lets you make your own decisions. So I think leaders who make you feel like you're appreciated, you're prospering, that's the kind of leader I want to be and I'm aspiring to be.
Tell me, if you could go back to a time in your friendship, because those years are many. What's the one time you'd go back to?
We are young. What are you saying?
You are burning it. You are burning it.
Stand
2018 is a long time ago.
You are burning it. You have burnt it.
2018 is a long time ago.
Jana.
When you were, I'm not saying 2022.
Now you want to even count.
Ditch the years just in the recent.
Okay, in the most recent, at least 15 years ago, but in the most recent, like, if you were to go back to a time in a friendship, what's that period?
I think
It doesn't have to
there's
be
a
the
time
legal
when we were all, the four of us, there's a time Daisy and I were sent out to support our office where we were working, where we met in Mombasa. That branch there. So we lived together. Daisy and I lived together for about 3 months. And then, of course, now there was a house for our friends to come and visit. It was quite fun.
The coast.
We had a blast. Like, we were working, but then there was this house.
Being paid at that time.
Yeah, we were being paid. We were now advocates. We just become advocates. So we went to support that branch, and our boss then was gracious enough to get us a house, and it was fully paid for. So we were balling, to say the least.
Just sherehe.
Well, if you want to put it that way,
Her words, not yours.
yeah. But I think that's what has immediately popped in my mind.
Campus, obviously.
Really?
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
broke.
where we
You guys?
we were broke, but
But happy, yeah.
we had a blast in campus.
Yeah,
That's why I
we
met
did.
Terry, Daisy, other friends, and we were roommates.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we really bonded and got to know each other. You're living together day in, day out. You're broke together. You have the little money together. So we did everything together, and even we used to put similar hairstyles. We were really
Nails.
We were twinning.
we were twinning. We were really people envied us.
We should say so.
But that's why we bonded, and as you can see, it's more fruits. We are
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah.
So I think campus is a really good time to make friends, especially when you're young. You realize those people you make friendships with in high school or campus, they really pay off in the future. Yeah. Even right now, I'm sure anyone who is in leadership, they're like calling, like, we went to school together. That factor, it plays a part in something.
networks.
Even if you want a favor or some work done, and they'll do it for you. They won't even charge you sometimes, or they'll give you the best advice for free. Like when I call Terry, she'll give me the best advice that a normal person might be charged for, but she'll give it to me for free. And when we need favors, even when our children go bigger, I'm sure we'll, it comes into place. So make sure your friendships in campus are solid. Yeah, siku party sana, but also
Balance.
strong friendships.
For me, also, I'd say campus, because those are the formative years. That is where, apart from even just us as friends, when we met there and made this bond, our fellow students back then, they're still good friends right now. They're still good networks. We all spread out different places in the world. So we have those contacts. We still have those connections, and they come in play really, really well. Yeah. So I would also say, we had so much fun. We learned a lot. We were exposed to a lot. Like for us, we were in campus during the post-election, just when it was beginning and almost towards the end, post-election or whatever. So there's that bond we have, where that is together with what the country went through.
Currently, we keep saying the law changes, things are changing. We've talked about how the digital space has also influenced and impacted the legal space. I don't know right now, what are those really major changes in the industry, that just your opinion and observation on what are the main major changes that you've observed and how that impacts as a woman in the legal space?
Of course, as a business owner, and these digital changes in the legal space, of course, we've had to elevate our practice in terms of setting up. Daisy had mentioned that there are this legal
Data
management systems that have now made our work easier. But of course, you have to invest in purchasing the system, which is not a very cheap venture. So in order to make sure that our firm is up to the times, we've had to invest in things like that, so that people are the practice is seamless and it's up to the time. So we've had to purchase things like those, and of course also keep ourselves abreast with, like, now government is also digitizing. So like there's a disaster, there's a citizen, all these new systems also that the government is taking to make our work easier. We've also, of course, have to keep learning and keep up with those changes. So I think for us as business owners and we have to lead from the front. So we've been very deliberate to make sure that we are keeping up with the changes and making the necessary purchases and having the necessary trainings.
So continually investing in the practice and even in your human resource.
Yes.
I guess I would say it's pretty much almost the same in the sense that from now, of course, being an employee, what Terry and Daisy have said, it's about investing in your people, one. So, of course, investing in the human resource. Invest also now as a person, as an individual, just basically move with the times. As if the fear out there is that, now with this whole digital evolution, AI things, the law, which is of course a very noble profession, is going to be phased out, but that I do not think that is the position on the ground. So I mean, as we continue to grow in this space that changes and stuff, even us as individuals also just basically move with the times.
Daisy, what do you think is one skill that with every change that's happening that you think is important for an advocate and a woman in this legal space? Because I think you'd speak from, we are women, like you'd speak from that aspect.
I think it's over time I've learned that it's, in putting it in the simplest of terms, it's just the ability to handle people in whatever, whether as a partner, whether as a colleague, as a fellow, as an employer. I've come to experience that in everywhere, even not in the legal space, even if you're just running a business, a small business, or in the corporate field, or in government, wherever you are, the ability to have that people skill, it's very important. Just be able to communicate what you need to communicate, and be able to deal with people in the different way they come. Because people are different, they present themselves in a very, dealing with, in my profession, having dealt with so many people, I've realized that you have to deal with people the way they are, and meet them at where they are, and be able to communicate to them what they need to hear, and be very clear. That people skill, I think it's very, very important. Yes.
Maybe just to chime in on that, I think maybe something else that Daisy is trying also to say, I think flexibility. Flexibility, that is just, because today you meet the normal mama mboga, tomorrow you meet a teenager, the other day you meet someone in their 80s, basically deliver to whatever it is that their need that they want. I think that's also, it's key. Important,
And I think it's timeless. Whether we have digital, whether we have whatever it is, that one will always be a skill
that is
high. Yes.
Across all areas.
Yes.
Are you guys able to like share like fun cases you've worked on? Can you work like the names? Things are really, really interesting.
So I think the interesting thing when I started out was I was used to, of course, handling single individual purchases, individual properties. And then one day I come upon this project. I think we were still yet to be admitted then. And our boss told Daisy and assigned Daisy and I a whole project of 600 units. And we had to deal with 600 different people over 1 or 2 years. Yes. And that, I think that shaped my practice in property law. So that was completely different. I'd never done anything like that. But it made me, especially as Daisy has just talked about people skills, you are selling the same exact unit, but you'll meet people of diverse characters.
600.
Yeah. In fact, sometimes it was more, because sometimes a unit is being bought by a chama of like 10 people. So that I think sharpened the people skills, but also just opened my mind to this thing can come, you're dealing in property, but it can come in various forms.
For me, I think every win in court is a celebration for me, because sometimes I get really into the cases and I'm petty about it and I want to win, but I can assure you every win feels I mean, it feels so good. Yeah, especially when I was prosecuting in Naivasha, I was at the High Court. So most of the cases, they're gruesome. I can't give details, but it's murders, it's sexual offenses. It's really gruesome cases. So when you really invested in that case and you're able to defend and go against the defense counsel and win, because I've met so many defense counsels. So I remember this particular one we were doing with Haminwa. So of course, every time he would come to court, he's given first audience and everything like that. So you, as a young lawyer, you just have your submissions and you're saying them out. You're not making a fuss, but the judge is. Because when the judge quotes you and says, yeah, the prosecution convinced me in this and that, it feels very good. And when you see that someone has justice has been delivered, even if someone is dead, they still need that justice. So I get really passionate with every case, and I can tell you it's taxing sometimes, but every win is, I know that I've helped someone in such a way that they'll be able to feel like justice has been served in one way or another.
I basically would associate myself with what Nelly has said in terms of when you win, it's a very, very good thing. For sure. And I think I resonate a lot with what she's saying, being that, as I said, mimi ni wakili mwenye anaenda kotini. So when you win, but even when you lose, those are learnings as well. So because when you sit back and go back and say, okay, so where did I go wrong, or did the court get it wrong, or and then you see there's chance to appeal all the way to the Supreme Court. But yeah, I mean, it's I think all the wins, all the losses, all coupled up in one have, in one way or another, shaped who I am today.
I would also say the same thing. Every time I finalize a transaction and I close the file, it feels so good that you are able to go to the client from the beginning, whether there were challenges, and you are able now to conclude and tell the client, now please come for your documents, come for your original title, come and pick this your share certificates, come and it feels really nice. And then once a client calls you again and tells me, now I have another transaction, it feels good. That day to day, it's on a daily basis, but it's like you feel fulfilled. Yes, you feel like at least I have helped someone. And also when a client refers you to somebody else, somebody calls you and tells you, oh, I was given your number by so and so, they said you handled their case so well, so I also want that referral. Always makes me feel so proud and feel so good. And also, like Terry has said, also creating employment in the farm and being able to build a business from scratch. It is not one of the easiest things, but it also comes with a lot of fulfillment. Every milestone you make.
So let's move a bit from the legal space. We are women. We love buying things, right?
Sure.
So I want to know that one thing that you bought recently that you would happily buy again. Hey, you're thinking about it.
Are you trying so many purchases? How can we choose
You
one?
have bought it yourself.
Can it be a gift?
Yeah, can it be a
Or a
gift?
gift you received. Hey, when you're talking about self-love,
Hey,
That's a
gifting is
it has to
being
be
gifted
something
is
that you
self-love.
bought.
Eh,
Hey, being gifted is self-love.
Yes.
Nice.
buying for ourselves or
Yeah, something that you've bought.
for yourself,
that you
or
love
for
so
someone
much.
else.
You've bought for yourself that you'd happily buy again.
at the risk of sounding boring,
Uh-huh.
the current laptop that I own, to the point that when I am sitting somewhere and I don't get to, it's a touch screen, so if I forget that, you forget that
Yeah.
wrong with
People who don't have.
So yes, the current laptop that I own, I think I'm very happy about that purchase.
I love books, so every last book I buy,
Serious.
imagine.
I wanted to say my quotes.
We are
They really buy again. They were killing.
Books zinaweza kumalizia pesa. They can really consume your money.
Actually,
Yeah.
It's an investment.
You really have to hold yourself back from buying like 6 when you go to that bookshop. So when you buy it, you feel so good. You're like, okay, let me finish. Or you buy like 5 and you've not read.
Yeah,
It's
and
an
you buy those
addiction.
6 and you'll end up reading 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of an addiction.
It is actually, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, for me, I invested in my wardrobe a few months ago. I'm still working on it.
So you have a new wardrobe, huh?
So
right now you're not the person, you're not in that phase where you're complaining and saying you don't have to.
I'm still complaining. However, what's there? I'm proud to say that now I decided that I wanted to create a wardrobe that I liked. You know, every piece.
Terry has always been a fashionista, so makes sense.
I wanted you to clarify that it's the attire. Because you know wardrobe, kuna vile wanafikiria it's a walk-in. Be specific.
Tell us.
You mean the clothes inside the wardrobe.
The outfit.
Yeah, outfits.
Even with a little money in campus, she used to rock it.
Yeah, I love good clothes, and so after I had my last born, I decided that I wanted to just change my look, and I'm working towards it, and where it is already, I'm proud of it, and I intend to just keep on splurging.
I'm obsessed with coats, by the way.
I
Like blazers.
Okay.
And there are those I've not even worn for many months, but I cannot explain.
It's a safe space, please. This is a safe space.
It's a safe space.
Yeah.
So guys,
We understand.
it's an addiction. I can't explain.
Let's
But
just say that.
And I can tell a good blazer from afar. And I can tell that's an expensive one.
That one not so
We know where to
expensive.
come for sleepovers, right?
Yeah.
Now, let me know. Would you rather be the funniest or the smartest in the room?
Funniest.
Funniest.
Smartest.
Smartest. You are kidding.
But of course.
Funniest.
Jokes win.
Why do you think?
I mean, you
funny
can
is-
pull the crowd. If
Yeah.
you're funny, as in people gravitate towards charm and fun and hey, people seriously.
Inategemea ni crowd
No.
ni chat. Inategemea ni
But
crowd
we
gani.
give you- Who wants to know facts?
Yeah.
No, you
We
can
want
be
to laugh.
smart.
The world is
I
ready
beg
to
to
stress.
differ. You can be smart, but you still have a
Funny.
smarts na fun. Najua haikuwa kwa maswali
Yeah, can it
lakini
be both?
zote mbili.
But yeah,
Both will be.
Still have it.
You only have one
Well.
answer.
I now even know who's this. Who do you think whether is the funniest in the group?
Apparently, the smart.
Eden is the funniest.
Yeah. Lazy to me.
She said.
I said
you said
funniest.
the funniest
Yes.
as well. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. You know the way there's this running joke about how in the friends group you plan trips, that those holidays. Have you guys ever gone on a holiday?
Yes.
We
You
have.
have.
We
Wait,
have.
it was
Oh, yeah.
actually made out of the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Local
But
ones, though.
what they say
No,
is
we've gone
true.
to Uganda
You can
together.
plan and plan and plan.
Okay, this thing of Uganda being international.
We crossed a
Tread
border.
very carefully. Liz. I'm watching you. I'm
And that's
seeing
very
you.
many years back, by the way.
It's many when you're in
Well,
campus.
No,
No.
but I went.
But we were very young in the
we had
profession.
What was it? What?
Yeah.
No,
No.
Fun times.
Fun
To
times.
Uganda, just fun times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny, how do we look? Like,
Guy.
have fun.
Judging us?
Asking for the
Could you
guy at
judge
the
now?
back. If you want to
judge
create
now?
one holiday, what would you create?
For the girls, Amma.
Yeah.
Euro
For you
tour.
guys.
Yeah.
Euro. That's our dream.
That's what we are
We're
planning.
saving for Euro tour.
Watch an
You can
Instagram
join
page
us,
near you.
please.
Yeah, please. I'd love to. So you've already started saving?
Well,
Yeah. Let's just.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
We have.
That is the position. Yes, we have.
You have, huh?
Now,
If you could keep 3 things from your home, what would you pick and why? Don't overthink it. Tell me.
what do you
3
mean
things.
keep as in like everything else goes and you keep that?
You just have 3 things. Yes.
My children.
Is that
My
one
clothes.
thing?
Materials.
Okay, so my clothes,
Uh-huh.
my watches, and books.
Me, I'm still keeping my coats.
We know.
Still going with
For
my
me, it
coats.
would be my books and my perfumes.
Books and perfumes.
Yes, and of course, my phone.
Your phone?
Ladies. Kitchen.
kitchen meter?
I have to choose one thing from it.
Yeah, from the kitchen. One thing from the kitchen.
Yeah.
You love cooking?
Yeah. and eating. So
So what in
What
the
would
kitchen?
it
eh,
What?
the
Oh, you want to carry the whole
Hey,
The fridge.
kuna vitu mingi.
Chakula.
Okay.
The fridge.
What else? It's
Uh,
3 things.
oh, it's 3 things. Books, of course. I don't get bored, and bed. My
Sleeping.
How you
My
carry your
bed.
things?
Sasa si
Mode
how
of
you carrying
transport was
them?
not part of the
Ama
question.
Si hizo tatu that you would.
Mode of transportation was not part of the question.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
As you know, laptop, lazima, si ndio? Simu yenye mpesa imejaa over and above, and of course all my bank cards, but I don't say
Wow.
things. True. But yeah.
Eden, what 5 apps do you like have on your phone? The 5 apps that you can't like do away with.
Microsoft Teams.
You can't be such a worker bee.
Yeah.
She is, by the way.
Yeah.
Even that trip we went for, half the time we didn't see her.
Oh.
She was on her laptop working,
Yo.
preparing
So-
submissions. Yeah.
Which we won by the way, but I digress.
High five.
So, Teams lazima, WhatsApp iko hapo, kuna IG, iko na Facebook.
We're millennials. We have
Yeah.
Na
we have
ChatGPT at the
Okay,
moment,
we don't have
unfortunately.
ChatGPT. Hey.
So,
You have to move with the times. Didn't we just say digital space? What?
Tinder.
hey.
Umekuja sana. So I play, umekuja sana.
Also, you know, huh? Ama the days are.
Kizuri cha juu saona, so walishaenda.
We like old school.
Barua iandikwe hivi. nini.
Yeah.
For me, it would be M-Pesa. There's an yeah. M-Pesa app, an audiobook app. Right now I'm using Everand. Gmail.
You guys, you're welcome.
Gmail, you need to be
They
updated.
run a business.
Yes.
For me, it would be, now that Daisy said M-Pesa, yes. M-Pesa, Spotify, Instagram,
Forgot
Pinterest,
Yeah.
and Facebook.
No TikTok.
Apparently I hear it's addictive. So mimi sina TikTok.
Like
I
for
do
me,
not have
TikTok is on the
TikTok.
list.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like TikTok has actually morphed into a research tool. It's more of a research tool.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So guys, you're not on Facebook anymore.
TikTok. Now you know you can monetize on Facebook. So us with our old numbers,
friend.
These are old numbers. Yes.
we have
We
followers.
don't want to ditch those numbers.
Who will watch this podcast?
Nobody's like the numbers are there, but people are not there anymore.
They are people.
They're
See us, we are people, Lama.
No, trust me, no one is on Facebook no more.
Okay, we'll download TikTok.
So then we'll do a first challenge. Please.
Prepare a dance.
I'm not saying some of you I share stuff, but it's okay. Your guilty pleasure.
Buying
Please, it cannot
clothes.
be work.
Buying clothes.
Clearly,
Shopping.
No.
Shopping.
For you,
Shopping. Yeah, but not necessarily perfumes, but whether clothes. Well, it just being in a mall, going from shop to shop.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Taisha macho.
skincare, whether it's
It's
clothes, whether it's
therapy.
shoes,
It's therapy.
it's therapy. Yes,
Yeah,
and
I
also
like shopping.
and also the spa experience, of course.
Yeah, I think I'd pick spa over shopping.
Shopping class.
Any form of retail therapy works for me. Sasa kama unanunua manguo, I'm there. If you're buying food, I'm there. So retail therapy, any form works for me.
As women, what do you think is the best thing about us? What's the best thing about the opposite gender?
I think their self-belief, even when they are really selling air.
Self-belief.
Confidence.
They're
Confidence, that's what I was
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. They don't second guess themselves.
Getting
So,
away with things.
yeah.
Yeah, unlike women, by the way, there's that they are confident.
Yeah.
Means even they believe in themselves. I think unlike women, which of course we're trying to get out of, but that's something I've observed, by the way, that
Yeah.
self-belief.
Yeah.
They might not know half of what you know, but they will just go and sell it, and just move with whatever happens. But
I think
they're already in
half
the
of
room.
them, they aim for the moon but even if they fall on the stars,
They still,
So-
they still
so yeah,
aimed.
that confidence, I think.
I feel like as women, we morph around our circumstances. Like, if I meet you, I'll try to morph and,
Yeah.
come to your level. Or,
Camouflage.
But men, like, this is how I like my thing. And Jesus,
Yeah.
you can't change it. Like,
Yeah.
you guys have to now operate
Fit
on
into their- yeah.
how I want my stuff
Yeah.
done. I guess we could, but I guess that's nature, because
It's meant to,
The
we're meant to
natural- I think it's the
complement each
natural-
other.
Our natural state makes us, you almost like bend over backwards for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think you said that thing about self-belief. The fact that I think with them, like what I've noticed, even with like my brother,
Yeah.
learning to drive, I think they're able to pick up new skills fast because of that thing of that fear. They don't have, I think, the way we second guess ourselves, that fear of what will happen if I hit this track or whatever. Me, that's something I
Overthinking.
noticed.
Yeah, I think
Overthinking.
it still morphs into that. It still comes
back
from that
to
confidence and self-belief. Because if you believe in yourself so much, you won't stop and start second guess. You'll just go for it. Most of the men I know never even went to driving school. No, they just got into a car and went.
Yeah, and of course the fact that I feel they have an easier life than we do.
Yeah.
Especially the older they get. More often than not. Because I feel like whether it's in the space of they are married, you have a helper, you have all these people who fix your life. And the fact that I think as women you'd have to wear many hats. Sometimes I feel it was just us guys are supposed to like provide. It's easier, guys.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain age as a woman, you're definitely balancing more than one thing.
Yeah.
You are, you have all these different phases of your life, wouldn't you say? Yeah, you have, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're an employee, an employer, you're a child, you're a daughter. Like, we keep making this joke about firstborn African daughters just need, some holiday of sorts.
Yeah.
We just need a support
Hey,
group.
a break
How many are
just from-
firstborns were they here? I'm a firstborn.
All of us.
Oh, all of us.
us.
Guys, yes, we do need a spa day.
Yes, we need it every so often.
Yeah. So that alone is already a burden. You're a sister, so it's most of the time. And because I think of that nurturing nature, you always, even if you don't want to like support or help, or you tell yourself, I'm going to ignore this, you just find yourself still going back to help everyone else. And
Exactly.
sometimes you forget yourself in the process.
Which I think is one thing about dudes. Dudes are very selfish.
Yeah.
Whichever way you want to look at it, like the good selfish or bad selfish. Selfish is, it's my time. I have to do this. Like I come first. Me, I wish I was able to like do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think it's the
Put yourself,
to an extent.
put yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, and even career-wise, I don't know whether it's the same with you guys. But then I've noticed there are more women in the legal space than there are men, and I don't know why that's the case.
Because even in our organization right now, we are more women than men.
Yeah, even in our law firm, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Even
why?
even living wise,
Uh-huh.
in organization men live more.
Yeah.
So maybe they want to,
Live.
as in when they just think about living, they don't have so much to think about. Just I'm
we
living.
need a plan
Want
A,
to take
B,
that
C,
risk.
D.
Yeah, you see now.
They are risk takers
Yeah.
also. They are risk takers, so they
Women tend to settle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like also people have embraced now the legal profession. It's no longer like
Male dominated.
Yeah,
Male dominated. And it's no longer, even the judiciary. Then
Yeah, I mean
women are
the
more.
topmost person is a woman. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's business
really
owners,
has changed.
better to like hire women, or the women will stay longer. They're more invested.
Yeah, I think I would say that they are more invested in helping you grow a brand. It doesn't mean that there are no good male employees. They are there, but sometimes, from what we've seen, women tend to, want to stick around and help you grow the business. They are more loyal. So of course, it's almost easier for you to look for a woman. Yeah.
Have you guys ever worked besides the legal space? Have you worked in other spaces?
Like the way my dad was pushing me to business because he was a business owner. So from even when you finish school, ingia kwa biashara. When you're not working, you look idle, enda kwa biashara. So that was our life. And farming, I've always had a passion for farming. So yeah, it's something that I would want to venture into.
You should. Start small, I think. Just start.
I've always thought about it. Kwanza tu ndo.
There's something in Luo that says chaka chaka.
Just that.
Just start.
That's what it means.
Don't
just start,
overplan.
Start with a small kitchen garden at home.
And not kill all the plants. I'll start by the way.
Be a man. You can do
For
it.
in that instance,
Be a man.
Kuwa na confidence.
Okay. What about it is?
It's also business related. Just wanting, apart from the legal business of running a law firm, just any other kind of business, whether it's in other small areas, whether it's in the beauty industry, whether it's in the service provision industry, that's something I would also want to explore and see how it goes. Yeah, basically it's just a small business, running small businesses. Yeah.
nice.
We keep saying the episodes I remember we did when we were talking to like SMEs, and the whole point, the reason as to why basically our conversation was it's very important to have like structures. You know how right now more often than not guys will say there's no work, hakuna kazi. If there's one thing I also think even from our conversation, even within the space you're in, there are all these alternative routes that you can take.
Yeah.
You know, so one thing we kept talking about in that particular episode, I think go watch it. It was about how it's important as you start, whatever it is, you're able to commercialize your skills, your talents, but it's important to create a structure around it.
Yeah.
It's
That's something we talk about a lot, and we are passionate about at MNO. Because we are a firm that primarily supports businesses. So we represent a lot of creatives and owner-managed businesses and small businesses. And usually what we advise our clients is that, you know, whatever business you're doing, you can always put it in some sort of vehicle, some sort of structure that legally protects your ideas, legally protects whatever it is you're doing and guides it. So that's something we're usually passionate about, growing with that and then growing with you, you know, from inception all the way to one day maybe you being bought out and selling your business, so you're making you investor ready, all that. So that's something we are really passionate about the firm.
Anyway, it really has been an insightful conversation. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for your time and just the conversations we've had. I know it's been quite we've talked about so many things. But I think the one thing I'd want guys to take from our episode is the fact that even in an industry like the legal space, there are so many ways to make a living and just experience ourselves in a light of very many very different structures and forms and different jobs, different spaces. So there are so many roads, you know, that lead to what we would define as success for us.